very exciting day because he's a great champion and we love champions. And it's wonderful to have you in the Oval Office with your family and your friends. Thank you very much. And thank you all for being here in the Oval Office on this very joyous occasion. Today it is my privilege to present our nation's highest civilian honor to a beloved basketball legend and a true American original, Robert Cousy, commonly known as Bob Cousy. Bob, congratulations on receiving the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest award you can receive. We have the Presidential Medal of Freedom and we have the Congressional Medal of Honor for military, and it's great to be with you. We're grateful to be joined by Senator Joe Manchin and his wife Gail, and Joe called me up quite a while ago and suggested this idea. And Joe, I'd like to, maybe if you could just go to the mic, say a few words about your relationship with Bob.
Mr. President, thank you. I had the great pleasure of meeting this legend many years ago through my dear friend Andy and Joni Padella and the Padella family. And Andy and I have been friends for a long time. We were talking, and he started talking about this Bob Cousy. I like Coos. He was saying Coos. And I said, "Are you talking about the Bob Cousy?" He said, "Yeah." He says, "I grew up with him. He's a young person. And we were friends of the family. We knew each other forever." And then he introduced me to him, and I met him. And we started talking, and Bob didn't say anything, but some of his friends said this is something that basically he aspired for. So you called me, and we were having a meeting on something else. We were about having lunch, and we were talking, and you, in your personal fashion, I said, "There's a gentleman I think you ought to consider for this high award." And you said, "Who would that be?" And I said, "Bob Cousy." You said, "I remember him very well." Remember we were sitting back there? You said, "Give us a number and we'll call him." You made the phone call back there. He wasn't going to take the phone calls. He thought someone said, "This is a White House call. The president wanted to speak to you." He said, "They're jousting me." So they took the call, and he says, "It's unbelievable." So to all the friends, this is a team effort. It was this whole family and all these people who grew up with Bob and Coos know it's been a team effort to make this happen. How this happened. Happy that I could be a part of this. And thank you, Mr. President, for recognizing
big part of
true
it,
American hero.
Yeah, thank you very much, Joe. Thank you, Gail, very much for being here. Appreciate it. Also with us are many members of the Cousy family, including Bob's daughters, Mary, Cindy, and Marie. Where are you now? Where are you? Hello, folks. Congratulations. It's a big deal. And his grandchildren, Zachary and Nicole. Thank you. Congratulations. And his sons-in-law, Randy, Bruce, and Joseph. And they're good sons-in-law, I assume, Bob, right? Huh? No complaints?
They stay in line.
I'll bet they are. Bob grew up during the Great Depression on Manhattan's East 83rd Street in an apartment without running water. In 1941, at the age of 13, Bob picked up a basketball for the very first time. He devoted himself to the sport and soon honed a unique ability to play equally well with both hands. He had a very unique talent. He had equal ability with both hands, they say. I won't ask you whether or not that's true. Is it true?
So.
It's pretty unique. And Bob never forgot the lesson his first mentor taught him. Don't ever be predictable. Hey, I've heard that lesson too. Not for basketball, for other things. By his senior year of high school, Bob was named captain of the Journal American's all-scholastic team, and people started calling him the Houdini of the hardwood. It started very early. It's called talent, and you either have it or you don't. In 1946, Bob enrolled at College of the Holy Cross and joined the Crusaders, where he quickly built a large following of fans. In one of the biggest games of his sophomore year, his coach, for whatever reason, benched him. I'll bet that's the only time that ever happened. The team was behind by 7 points with only 5 minutes left to play. It was a very, very important game when the fans started going crazy. "We want Cousy, we want Cousy." A lot of fans, to 8,000. That's a lot at that time. The coach had no choice but to put Bob in a game, and Bob immediately went on to score 12 quick points, leading his team to a epic come-from-behind victory. And I don't know if the coach kept his job or not, but I don't know. What do you think, Joe? I think I would have gotten rid of the coach. By the end of his collegiate career, the Wizard of Worcester was a 3-time All-American, and was on his way to being drafted into the NBA. Everybody was talking about him. They were talking about him all over the country. Joining the Boston Celtics in 1950, Bob quickly established himself as the preeminent point guard of his day. He was ranked #1 in assists for 8 of his 13 NBA seasons, all of which were spent with a team known as the Boston Celtics, great team. By his second season, he was the 3rd highest scorer in the league. In a legendary 1953 playoff game between the Celtics and the Syracuse Nationals, Bob demonstrated exceptional grit in one of the roughest games in the history of basketball, including 107 fouls. That's a lot of fouls. Bob forced the game into its first of 4 overtimes and propelled the way to victory, scoring a record 50 points, and Boston won by quite a bit because he just went wild in that last overtime. In 1954, Bob organized the NBA Players Association, a first-of-its-kind union for major American sports. He was elected the association's first president and fought for better working conditions and a more reasonable schedule for players. Bob's activism helped him produce many notable reforms, including a pension plan for NBA players. Bob was also a passionate advocate for equality and justice. At Holy Cross, he wrote his senior thesis on the persecution faced by minorities. While playing for the Celtics, Bob heard that his friend Chuck Cooper, the first African-American drafted into the NBA, could not stay in the same hotel as the rest of the team in the segregated South. Bob responded by leaving the state with his teammate. And he wasn't a happy person, and he became very happy because what happened after that is very legendary. Bob was right at the forefront. Throughout his long career, Bob was a voice against prejudice, racism, and bigotry. After 1,026 games for the Celtics, Bob retired from the team in 1963. He had scored 18,973 points and made 7,882 assists. They were records at the time. He was a 6-time NBA champion, a 13-time NBA All-Star, wow. And he was also league MVP. He was the first NBA player to be on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Bob went on to coach the Boston College basketball team to a 117-38 record. In 1973, he coached the U.S. national team to a victory against the Soviet Union. He was inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame in 1971 and later became the first inductee to serve as its president. He coached the Cincinnati Royals and briefly reactivated in 1969, setting the record for the oldest person to play in the NBA. Am I allowed to ask how old that was?
I'm having a senior moment, Mr. President. I think it was 41.
That's very good. That's pretty good. Over the years, Bob has also poured his heart in countless charitable causes. He was named the Big Brother of the Year in 1965, taught youth basketball, and created a scholarship for underprivileged children. It's an incredible life. Incredible life you've done. Great job, Bob.
Thank you.
But you're one of the all-time greats in the history of sports, not just basketball, and an inspiration to us all. And today, America honors and celebrates everything that you have achieved. You've achieved so much, and even beyond basketball. It is my privilege to ask the military aide to read the citation as we present Robert Bob Cousy with the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Please.
Robert Joseph Bob Cousy is one of basketball's all-time greatest players. During his 13 seasons with the Boston Celtics, the Houdini of the hardwood confounded opponents and was instrumental in building the team into a legendary success. Mr. Cousy won 6 NBA championships with the Celtics, led the league in assists for 8 straight years, was a 13-time All-Star, and won the NBA's Most Valuable Player Award in 1957. Off the court, he fought for racial equality by standing up to racism directed at his teammates, and he helped organize the NBA Players Association. In 1971, he was inducted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. The United States proudly honors Mr. Cousy, whose competitiveness and character have solidified him as a distinguished athlete and American.